All right, everybody. Well, let's look at a little bit of setup here. Bring yourself to Midwestern University, doing a little bit of a commencement speech. And the person that came before the main character of our story, they made a little bit of a joke about a Eastern European language and kind of imitated it. This person obviously could be Eastern European, we don't know. Their name had a somewhat sounding of your Eastern European-ish feeling to it. So it felt a little bit more like making fun of yourself than making fun of others, right? However, this guy comes out, our main character, and he just wants to kind of like off the cuff make a joke along the same lines. But unfortunately, his joke came out very clumsy, and he got himself in a lot of hot water because he, instead of making fun of an accent that could be his, he has now made fun of an accent that is not his. And it was an Asian accent, general unknown language Asian accent. And that has what caused all the controversy and offense. Now, if he apologized like immediately. He was like, whoops, sorry, that was off the cuff. Obviously it did not go over well. Like, this is not what I was trying to do. I just was in the moment, sorry guys. But it could be too little, too late. People have already seen it and they're already judging him for what has happened, either rightly or unjustly, is up to you guys to decide. Now, this is a touchy subject in a lot of ways. Although it's becoming more clear these days. Do you think that doing a non-Asian person doing an Asian accent as a joke is something that is offensive or not offensive, or?
I wouldn't do it. I suppose I don't police other people when they do it, but to be honest, actually, I don't think I've got that much experience of it. I don't think my friends wouldn't do it. I mean, maybe some older people, perhaps in Britain, they might do something like that. But I feel like this one is generally agreed on as a bit of a faux pas.
Yeah.
It's rude.
Absolutely. I think that's been very well documented that this is not a really good thing to do. Even in the U.S., but all over the world, people are like, maybe that's not the best thing to do. Now, like you were saying, sometimes I watch comedians and they're making fun of their own race or language. And I laugh along because it's them making fun of it and they're a comedian, so they obviously want everyone to laugh at the joke they're making. And they are making jokes I can't. So it does have an extra layer of funny that can happen, right? But non-Asian, doing sort of this faux Asian accent as a, not as an insult, but as something that's supposed to be funny. Yeah, a little bit across the line.
Yeah, we should know better at this point.
Yeah.
I do admit, though, I think one of the details that makes this particularly poignant case is because he's not a comedian. He is a university chancellor making a speech. So the context is entirely different. The audience is entirely different. And I guess, I know this is stereotyping, but our expectation of his intelligence level is a lot higher. He's an academic. We expect him to know these kinds of things, perhaps in a way that, your average comic, we don't expect them to be super smart and super on the ball all the time.
And we do expect them to push the limits, because I think true good comedy will always push limits. And we need them to push the limits to make people feel uncomfortable. To a point.
Some theories of comedy say that discomfort is required in order to make the punchline hit. Anyway, we can debate the ins and outs of proper comedy.
There are some comedians that take that discomfort level to a different section, and it kind of, I don't know about that, but for a lot of them, it works out. It works out in a way.
So something else that made this perhaps a very poignant case is that in recent years, anti-Asian racism has gotten much worse in the US, maybe even in Europe too. I think I have seen, well, not now, but a few years ago, articles popping up about incidents of what they were calling Asian hate, and there was a whole campaign called Stop Asian Hate. So why do you think this has been happening, an increase in this kind of...
I would say, in general, before coronavirus, there was an ignorance and a history with Asian racism. The history is, of course, coming mostly from the Chinese side of things. America has a big history of even banning Chinese from entering the country at some points. And then ignorance, not knowing that there is another side of the world where there are many different countries, many different people groups who are just as diverse as those who you see around you. However, with recent times, it's obviously the coronavirus. I mean, there was a big push that China was the one that created all of this. That, people were saying that even though it was misinformation, everyone was blaming China, and with the ignorance mixed in there, anyone who looks vaguely Asian in any way is now Chinese, and Chinese caused this coronavirus problem, therefore racism. Yeah.
Like all racism, the really strong stuff is motivated largely by complete idiocy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think the reasons are simple but stupid.
Yes, there are too many stupid people in the world.
Oh man.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. Let's not go there just yet. A lot of those words that you see in the vocabulary might feel like gibberish to you, but if you do study them, they will become like second nature, and that's what our goal is. So go ahead and take a look at them, and we will see you in the next article. Bye.
Chancellor.
Chancellor.
Clumsy.
Clumsy.
Utter.
Utter.
Gibberish.
Gibberish.
Off the cuff.
Off the cuff.